when you're leaning over the engine bay like that, all you're going to do is create a shadow where your big head is. Wow. Should have done this a long time ago. It's like magic. Woo! Oh my god, it's so dark, I can't see anything.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to show you a product that I purchased, just arrived today, that I think is going to make my life a lot easier when it comes to working on any vehicle, not just this one.
Before I get started, make sure to like the video if you want to see more content like this, and subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified of additional videos I upload. And if you're into Land Cruisers of various generations or boating, I have a lot of boating content as well. Make sure to check out the other videos on the channel. As always, I appreciate the support.
Normally, y'all see me when I am in the videos without glasses on. And I can tell you that at 42 years old, turning 43 this year, I started wearing glasses about a year and a half ago, and especially when it's not bright, if it's dark, I have a real big problem reading fine print or even locating bolts and things like that when I'm working on the truck. And I decided to go ahead and upgrade the lighting that I'm working with, and I'll go through that today. And if you find it useful, that's great. At least you have another perspective on different options to increase lighting in your work area, and particularly under the hood.
One of the problems I've been having is, as I'm getting older, I'm about to turn 43 this year, and I've started wearing glasses as of last year. I have a hard time seeing in dark areas. I'm fine as far as my farsightedness. Nearsightedness is starting to get worse, and especially when it's dark, everything is kind of blurry. Can't see well until I wear my glasses, and even then it's not as good as it used to be. One option I have is to pull the hood off, stick it on the roof of the car for the time being while I work on it. I don't have the patience to do that right now. Maybe I'll do it at some point. I did install super bright LED lighting all across the garage, as you can see there, but with the hood in the way, it's still kind of dark underneath the hood in the engine bay area. I thought about putting some lights up right here across the wall areas in the garage. That way it's shining down into the engine bay. And then my neighbor was over and he said, well, when you're leaning over the engine bay like that, all you're going to do is create a shadow where your big head is, and you won't be able to see anything. So I got to doing some research on the internet about different magnetic setups, hanging setups, all sorts of different things, and trying to get an idea what best bang for the buck is. I've got a few magnetic lights that I stick here and there and everywhere. They work fine for spotlighting, but they're not super bright, and they also run out of batteries fairly quickly since the battery's internal and it doesn't last forever. So I looked through all of the forums on different review sites, Amazon listings, Home Depot, Lowe's listings, tool store listings, and went through a bunch of reviews on different products. What I started to narrow it down to are the big light bars that hang across the hood with the hooks that hook on either side, and then started looking at the various brands, some of the Chinese brands, the American brands, etc. I was trying to keep it under 300 bucks. There are some very expensive ones that I'm sure are top performers. I didn't want to spend $500-600 on a light bar, so my budget was under 300 bucks, and I have a bunch of Dewalt tools and Ryobi tools and a lot of batteries, the larger high amp hour batteries for all those tools I use. So I was trying to stick with either of those two brands if I could. Ryobi didn't really have a lot of options that were great. Milwaukee had a couple of good ones, and DeWalt surprisingly had extremely good reviews on their underhood light bar. I went ahead and checked it out, and it happens that one of my other neighbors has one. When I looked at his, really impressed with the light output, and even on the smaller batteries, the 2 amp hour batteries he has, he was getting tons of life out of it before having to recharge. So there it is, it's this guy. Let's get it open and see what all it comes with. I'll put the link down in the description. I bought it on Amazon. It was a little bit cheaper than Home Depot, but you can also order it from most hardware stores and outlets that sell tools and hardware. And as far as price point came in, I know things go up and down in price all the time. I paid $179 shipped to my door from Amazon in 2 days. That was perfect. Can't beat that. So there we go in all its glory. It folds up in half to make it easier to store, so you don't have the big long entire light bar that you have to find a place for in your garage. The one I purchased is the tool only version of it because I have lots of batteries and charger, so I didn't want to pay for a small battery that would usually come with it. I keep only the 4 amp hour batteries, the smaller ones. I've had them over the years and they tend to not only not last as long, but they die quicker, and you have to replace them as well, from my experience at least. So let's get this thing unwrapped, get some of this plastic stuff off of it, and put a battery in it, and see what kind of performance we get. Let's see, how do we open this thing? Is it just by force? Yep, you just force it open. And it looks like it locks at different angles. I guess so if you have a purpose for it to be at a different angle, maybe you could use it that way. And these hooks, I think they rotate. Yeah, so you can rotate the hooks in all different angles and directions, and it just locks and clips at each angle of rotation there, so it'll stay put. It's just the box that I'm assuming contains the transformers, electronics, whatever's running that thing. And then on this side, you've got the battery location. I'm not sure what this little swivel bracket is for. I don't remember seeing it on my other Dewalt tools, or maybe I just missed it. So you've got that. So this thing right here, this little metal slot, is where it locks into position. On this side, you've got this little nub. And that nub, when you fold this thing, folds in the middle, clips into that little metal slot to hold it shut. Don't know what that is. Maybe some kind of a port for charging? Let me see. No, doesn't really open. I'm not sure what that is. And then here, you've got your power button and another button. Don't know what it does. We'll find out when the battery goes in. So let's put a battery in it. If you notice on the box, it has two different voltage ratings, 12 volt max and the 20 volt max. So that means you can use the 12 volt max batteries, or you can use the 20 volt max batteries. I don't have any of the 12 volt. All of my batteries are 4 and 5 amp hour 20 volt max batteries. I'm not sure if that affects the lighting performance or not if you have a bunch of old 12 volt batteries, but worth consideration. If you do have the 12 volts and not the 20 volt batteries, I'm not sure if it's going to perform the same or not, so take it with a grain of salt. Let's go ahead and put this guy on. Okay. Hit the power button. Holy moly, that is really bright. And what's this other button do? Oh, one click just ends up with one side, and the other side, and both sides. Okay. That makes sense. I guess you could use that for different levels of brightness, or if you've got this thing folded in half and maybe just using half of it. That makes sense. Okay, let's power it off. And let's put it on the truck and see how it does. The other thing that in a lot of reviews I noticed is that the plastic rubbery material on these hooks on a lot of other brands, reviews were stating that they were wearing off quickly after a few uses or several weeks of use, and then you're ending up with just the metal or plastic bar that's in the middle of that, having to use that as the hook and not having any protection for the paint on your hood. So the Dewalt, whatever they're using on here, seems to be more robust and capable of handling a lot of use over and over throughout the years. I didn't really see any negative reviews, just reading through them, that were bad as far as catastrophic failure or anything like that on the Dewalt. That's the reason I went with this one. Paying $30-40 more versus the competition seemed like a good route to go. You buy it once, not twice. And you end up with a tool that's going to last you for years. So let's get it put on the truck. I'm going to need both my hands to do this on the truck, so let me show you here. Some of the other brands, you have the springs that expand and contract and clip in certain spots, or you pull it out and you have a lever that locks it in place. The Dewalt is spring-loaded, so as I'm pulling it out,
there's more and more tension on it, and then it pulls back in on its own. So you want to extend it out, clip it around your hood, and then it actually puts force on it inwards to hold itself in place. And then in addition, when you take it off, the spring-loaded portion pulls it back in to make it ready, compact and ready for storage. So I'm going to put the camera down for a second, get this up on the hood, and then we'll look at the lighting output. Here it is attached to the hood. As you can see up here, you've got nice firm connection. I went ahead and placed it to where this outside portion of the hook is right at the corner of my hood. That way it doesn't have a tendency to slip down. Not to say that it would slip down. I tried putting it on the flatter part of the hood and it's still held in place, but I think putting it right there at the corner, just with shaking things around and working on the truck, may help to keep it in place better. One thing I was worried about is how flimsy some of these might be, since you're extending it out over a large span of length. You've got the weight of the battery, the weight of the light itself. I was worried that some of these might be too flimsy to where the middle might want to collapse, but this one seems very nice and firm. It does have a little bit of play, but overall it's very firm, and I'm pretty confident it's going to stay in place. As you can see, I went ahead and closed the two garage doors so we're not getting outside light in here, and we can get a more realistic view of what sort of difference this thing makes. So right now it's off, and I've got the lights up top on. It looks brighter in this video than what I'm seeing with my eyeballs. I can see the screen on the video, and it's brighter because of how good these cameras are these days with low light situations. So keep that in mind as you're watching this. So right now it's off, and I'm going to turn it on. Wow. Should have done this a long time ago. Holy moly. What a difference. And it lights everything up. Because these lights are set up to where the lenses are acting as more of a floodlight, not a spotlight like most of the little battery powered mechanic lights are, it just puts light out everywhere. Honestly guys, being 100% honest here, I'm very pleasantly surprised. There's a lot of light output here, and with my naked eye, I can see everything in here really well. And I can tell you, just before this came on, I wouldn't have been able to see with my own eyes enough without lighting to confidently put a ratchet on a head bolt, bolt's head, for example. This is, wow, I'm speechless. Should have done this a long time ago. It's one of the simplest, easiest things to buy and use. I feel like a little bit of an amateur at this point. I've been doing this stuff for 20 years, over 20 years, tinkering with cars and motors and rebuilds and trucks and sports cars, track cars, everything, but never thought to buy one of these hood lights. I've had the hanging lights that, the old school mechanics used to use with the wire coming out, and the fluorescent lights, and the new ones that came out after that, and the LEDs, and every light you can think of except for this kind. Just wow. That's just wow. I highly recommend getting one of these, no matter what kind of car or truck you're working on. And the link down in the description is an Amazon affiliates link. If you do buy it through that link, it's the same price for you. I think they send me a payment for like 1% of your purchase price or something like that. I don't know how it works. I just recently started using those. But if you do buy anything that you see in the videos, the links through the descriptions, they're all Amazon affiliate links. Keep that in mind. And it sends me some sort of a payment from whatever you're purchasing there through the link. I highly recommend this. Hope you found the video useful. And if you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. As always, make sure to like, share, subscribe. Love you guys. See you next time. All this bright lighting, and I still can't see under the hood. Bam! It's like magic.